Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, last session we learned about working with conditional rendering. So, we discussed about conditional render. So, conditional rendering. So, we learned about controlled components. Uh, we learned about context API. We discussed about props, how to handle, and we learned conditional rendering. Conditional rendering, what I showed you is according to the situation, the user interface can change. So what example we have seen, user sign in, it will get a sign out screen. When user sign out, it will get a sign in screen. And conditional rendering is not only that, it can change the complete return type of component. It can change the complete return type of component. For example, have you tried designing grid, data grid? I showed you now table. Dynamically, we can create a grid, right? See, so here in this, I will show you one example. So here we are having, okay. Actually, we learned how to design one data grid displaying data. In controlled components, we learned about data grid. Let's do one thing. We designed a navbar. So we will create another one. Just navbar only we will change. Which one? Condition demo. We have condition demo. Let's go to this condition demo. Yeah. So we have another one is okay, props demo, right? I will add one example here in the components. Yeah. Render demo. Okay. And render demo.jsx. Render demo. Let's keep it simple. Okay. Now this is some conditional render demo. Okay. Let's keep this in the startup. So let's run this and it's ready. Okay. So here we are creating. Yeah. Here I want to display navbar. Already we created a navbar. We designed one navbar. Observe in controlled components, we created a navbar. This navbar is expecting what it is expecting. It is expecting brand icon. It is expecting brand name, brand icon. It is expecting some display, search string, some dynamic items, menu items, these are all available. Okay. See now here, I am trying to access the navbar here. How to access navbar? And navbar is expecting properties. What are the properties? Brand is Amazon. It is expecting menu items. Menu items is an array. It is an array of items. We have like home, products, shop, some about something. Okay. And you see a navbar will come like this. We added colors, search, so many things we have defined. Now what I want is, in some situations, I want navbar vertical, not horizontal. I want to keep this navbar left side. Then how it can change? If I want left side, complete orientation should change. Content will be same, or you can hide some content. Complete orientation should change. So what we can do is, see, I will make it simple. In the navbar, this navbar is returned with, see what I am giving, display flex, justify between, means it is side by side, it is displayed. So I will do one thing. I will remove this return, means I will just cut the return. And here I will write a condition. If props dot orientation is equal to, this is orientation is horizontal. Horizontal is the orientation. Then it should render this part. Else, what it should do? Else, if it is not horizontal orientation, then it should render, that means it should return a navbar, but this time completely different. What it will do is, I will add a style width as 250 pixel width. I will put class here. We will add as, what are the classes? You know, dynamically, the class is dflex only, but flex column. Flex is not row wise, it will be column. Another one, justify content. Content we will give as left side. That means justify content between. First, between, align items as start. Start means left. That means align items baseline. Baseline is left side. Okay. This is okay. And here we will give a header, just a div. In this, we will display props.brand. We are expecting brand name and class font size 4, font weight bold. Okay. And here I will give margin Y as 3. Fine. Below this, we will put an unordered list. For this, we will give a class called list group. Actually, we have list group option. We have list group. Below this, we will put one more option, props dot, okay, sorry, props dot menu items. We will map every item, and for every item, we will create a list item. Class as list group item. And list group item Suppose I given some success, danger, something, and margin white 2. Okay. Here I want to display the item. And you know that every repeating item must have a key. So I will keep a key here. Item. Make sure that this is inside a div. Okay. And below I will use, so I will keep another div button, class btn. So btn warning bi person, and we will keep sign in some option. And this button will be fine, W100, something like this. And this will have a padding as 2 or 3 padding we are giving. Okay. Now this is the navbar with 2 different presentations. And see now the navbar is like this now. For this navbar, I will extra add, what is it? In the second one, we are just adding border. So border is 2. Style, I give height as some 400 pixel. Then it will display like this. And every list group item, so W100, that means I will keep this better because list group is already built in. I will remove the, I will keep the width as 100 is enough. 150 is enough. That looks just roughly. And remember why it is vertical? Because when I used that in my navbar, I haven't mentioned orientation. Just what we have to do, we have to write orientation is equal to, what is the orientation? Horizontal. Then complete appearance changes. Complete appearance changes. And if I set the orientation to vertical and its appearance is different, roughly I designed, we can add anything. We can add anything, we can configure anything. That means a complete component can render different things. Last session, what we learned, in one component, some area is changing. Is entire component is changing? No, only a specific area is changing. But now we can change the complete component behavior. Completely what it returns, we can change in a different scenario. That is another concept of conditional render. Conditional rendering is changing a part of component or changing complete component render. How that is possible? By using this technique, we can implement that. That means I designed navbar. We are expecting properties. If it is horizontal, return a horizontal navbar. I return if condition. If there are many, you can put switch case. Switch case. If case is this, return this. Case is that, return that. That means we can change in multiple. So usually that is one important in conditional render. So one concept last session I given. So second one is today just a point I will give here. First one is rendering a specific portion, right? The second is here a component. A component can render. So it can render and return different JSX element according to the condition, specified condition. Return different JSX element according to the condition. Syntactically, how you do that? So we have a export. So function, this is controlled. In that we have props. And what we do, if we have to define props and a condition, you can put any condition. If this is matching, it should return. So this is JSX1, just roughly. This is one content it should return. And this is one condition, else it will return another JSX element. It is going to return another JSX element. So it is going to return a different JSX element depending on condition. That's how we define a controlled component. So that means through props, we verify the condition. If condition matching, it will do that work. If not, it will return something else. So two examples I showed. One is within the component, some content is changing. Completely component return is changing. We can implement these two. This is an example. I will copy this example for navbar dot what JSX. In navbar JSX, this is the code I have written. I will copy this. And how to implement? We have render demo dot JSX. In that, we are accessing the navbar and changing the orientation. This is example of how to design and use the navbar. So in future, when you are working with the concept of different interactions, you can use this. I will give you one task. You try to do that. Right? I will explain one task with conditional render. You try to do it. Anyhow, in future, we will implement in a app, in one app. What you have to try? I will show you one concept. I will share one design. I will explain one design. You should able to create it by yourself using conditional render, right? What is that is, see, you have to create one simple design. I will show you. I'm creating a table, class, table, and table hover. Okay, we have T head, TR, TH, suppose name and price. You can have any number of fields we can have. And we have action. Okay. Now what I want is in the table body, we have row. In the table, what you need to do, you put some data. Data can come from an array. Data can come from an array. For example, constant data is a simple use state. It is an array. Array of objects. It has name and it has price. Okay. Another object with the name and price. Okay. Now in this, we will display the rows. Okay. What is it? So we have data dot map. So read every item and create a row. Okay. In that one cell will display item dot name. Another cell will display item dot price. So we'll give a key item dot name something. This is the data table we are having. In this last cell, we will keep button as edit. Right now, edit, you can have class btn warning, bi pen fill. Okay, we have a edit button. Now, what is your job is when I click edit button, here these values must display in text box. That means when I click edit button, automatically these values must display in text box. And this button should change to save because you are in edit mode. When you are in edit mode, this button should change to save. You don't need to save and all. Later you can do that, but you have to toggle the display. When I click this edit button, these values must be displayed in text boxes. And this button should change to save button. Different color. Save button usually green. When I click save, then that save button should again, when I click save, that save button should turn to edit and these text boxes should disappear and again label should come. That means what you have to do here, this thing you are displaying in a label actually. This we are displaying in a label. This we are displaying in a label. And very important is when I click edit, that label should change to text box. This label should change to text box when I click on edit. And very important, this edit button should change into save button. That means suppose we have a button btn success. So bi floppy fill. Okay, this will change to save. It will change to save. But both will not come. Only one. Can you try? Right. What references you will keep, how you manage, you think about it. Not ChatGPT. If you done with ChatGPT, then we will send ChatGPT for jobs, not you. You are not suitable for them then. Right? And it is very famous in real requirements. In real-time requirements, it's very common. We have seen for little experienced people also, they ask, create one inline editing grid and show us. And do you know specialty? I given buttons in some websites. I mean, in some requirements, they say that I should able to double click on the field. It should turn to text box. Means I will not wait until edit button is clicked. You know, you have folder names and all. You just double click, then automatically they open or they change to rename option. You click outside, then they again become normal. You click inside, they will ask change name. Right? That means this you should try. Try, attempt this. That means you should have a good knowledge on event and logically toggling. How you toggle one into another. You have done any such thing in JavaScript? Then what you done in JavaScript? Just variable data types, operator statements. But if you have tried such logics in JavaScript, you know the logic is same everywhere. You can implement here, right? So for example, means roughly I will tell you here, means just one hint, rest of thing you have to do. That means here what should happen is, for example, just toggling I am showing. You don't need one button. You can have several buttons. Or you can deal with only one button also. Actually, they use only one button. They will not use multiple buttons, right? They will not use multiple buttons. For example, see, I'm creating one constant toggle. Toggle and set toggle is equal to use state. By default, toggle is, suppose by default toggle is view. The default toggle is view. View, or by default it is saved. Default it is saved. Toggle is saved. So what should happen here is we will write this button, and you see the classes. That means toggle is set toggle is editor. Okay, saved, right? Now what should happen here? Constant toggle text, set toggle text. Toggle text is equal to use state. By default, it is some edit. Edit is the toggle text. We will display the toggle text here. Edit toggle text is here. This is toggle text. You can see same is that edit. Now what happens is when I click this button, on click, right? On click. So I will write a function handle toggle click. Just handle toggle click. And here we will write handle toggle click. Okay. What is it? Here we will write a simple condition. If what is the toggle text? If toggle text is equal to, already it is what? Edit. Then set toggle text. So set, you have toggle text as save. That's it now. Otherwise, set toggle text as what? Set toggle text as what? Edit only. If it is save, put it as edit. If it is edit, put it as save. We have to set that. Now, what is the point here? I click on this edit, it will be save. I click on save, it will be edit. You can change icons, you can change colors. So that means what you do, for example, we have constant set toggle class, toggle class, set toggle class is equal to use state. What is the default class? btn warning, bi pen fill. This is the default one. Okay, now what we will do is on set toggle class, set toggle class btn success bi floppy fill. Floppy fill is the class. On edit, again set toggle class. What is it? btn warning bi pen fill. These are the classes. And you have to apply the class also dynamically comes now. Toggle class. It will dynamically come from toggle class. Now you see I click on edit and it should change. Right? And I click on save, it should change. This is not your challenge. I already done it. Simple. Why I will give simple thing to you? Right? It should change only that row. It should not change all rows. Understood? That means when I click on edit, it should change only this row. Why it is affecting others? It should not affect everyone. That is the challenging one, right? I'm just explaining scenario. This is conditionally changing the UI, and the label can be changed to text box, right? How you will change to the text box? So here I will use when it is edit, it will be save. That means what we will do is we will set where is it? Set toggle as edit. Otherwise, set toggle as what? Save. We have edit and save. Toggle. Yeah, edit and save lowercase only. That's fine. Now, what is the point? Here you are displaying label. That means what we have to do? You need a ternary operator. What is the condition? If condition is what? What is the condition? We have the text toggle. If toggle is what? If toggle is what? Save. If toggle is save, then question mark, you put a label and colon. Otherwise, you put an input. Input type is what? So input type is what? Text. And what should be the value? So value should be dynamically item dot name. That should change. Item dot name, item dot price, depending on that. That means now what happens? It is like this. Default, what should happen when I click on edit? It should come. That means we can change this. If toggle is what? Edit. If toggle is edit, then what should happen? It should display label. Reverse I given. Acha, saved, right? Not save. Okay, that's fine. So this is a save. Then it should get a label. And when I click on edit, then it should change to text box. I hope you are clear. And when I click on save, again it will be label. You click on edit, then it should display text box. And I click on save. Same logic you have to implement here also. That means the same logic we need to implement here also. Right? So if it is label item dot what? Price. Here item dot price. Price. And you see when I click edit, it should get that. Right? So I click on save, then it is again normal. This is very famous design regularly required. Actually, this is called inline editing. That means in companies, they ask, I want a grid with inline editing. Inline editing means automatically it should allow to edit in the same place. Actually, several websites, what they do, when I click edit, a form will open. We have to fill the form, save and update. No, not like that. Inline editing. So that means lot of conditional rendering. Here we are using lot of conditional rendering. It is changing. And what is the main challenging is later when you deal with data, I will show you. Main challenging is this updated must be saved. right? However, it will not save now. Why? Because we are getting from a variable. If we are storing in any database or JSON servers, we will see them later. Then they can be saved. They can be saved. But only 90% I achieved. Only 1% you have to try. 10%. What is it? When I click edit, only this should edit. How you will get that? I told you that is where the key concept is important. Why to use a key? To identify which one they chosen for edit or delete. Till now you haven't used that key. You just mentioning the key. Right? Now based on the key value, you should able to identify which edit button they click. That means now in the data, better you add one more extra. What is it? Every product have an ID. And use that ID as a key. Based on the key, you try now. Right? How I can manage this on double click, on double click. That means you see this is the event handle toggle click. Right? So actually, what we do, we are applying all these options. So generally, we have a function. What is it? Handle, 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 double click. Huh? On handle double click, I am calling handle toggle click. Roughly, I am calling the entire functionality again. And where double click? Double click should work on this label. Now. Label can have on double click, handle double click. That means in this label, I double click. So it should open it. It should open that. So again, double click. So it should work, but not double click. This time you have to write blur. Blur means you click outside, then it should be normal. Blur of what? Text box. This text box needs a blur. Right? For this text box, where is it? This is text box. Na? We write on blur. So on blur, handle double click again. Right? So actually it is not like that. So I just written double click on this label, it will open. I click outside, then again it should be normal. I double click, then it should open. And I click outside, then it will be normal. That means you click here, I click outside, then it is normal. Actually, double click, this is label is only this part. You can try one thing. Where is it? Instead of double click on label, you can put double click on this TD, table data. That means anywhere here double click, it will open. Otherwise, exactly on that label, you have to click. We don't know how much length that label is. And you click outside, it will be normal. These are all conditional rendering related options. Right? Now, I hope based on this type of query, you understand in real time how complicated they may ask. Right? And you might have understood now the importance of events. Right? Those events, they look simple, but they are used in very, very complicated interactions. That means you might have never used them while learning JavaScript much, but in reality, they play very key role. In such interactions, all event based only. Right? We need to understand correctly how the event works. Only one thing I want from you. That is based on which button, which one they clicked, only that should open. it should not affect others. For that, whatever research you want, you try and do. Right? So, whatever you want, you can try that and see and make sure that it is working. You try that example. Can you do that? Right? So, you try to do this example. I will just give you this as a task. This is task, and this is render demo.jsx. Anyhow, Git on Git, it will be updated. You check it. Now, only that particular record should open in edit mode. And that completely depends on the concept of key. Okay. Right. So this is conditional rendering, and you have seen different types of events. What are the events? Keyboard events, mouse events, button events, and all different types of events. Now, in the events category, actually you are learning everything related to events. In the events category, we have another important event. These are form events. We have form events. What are the form events available in JavaScript? On submit. On submit is one form event. On reset is another form event. Generally, where we use on submit, on reset are the events used for form element. They are not used for submit and reset buttons. They are used for form. That means where we apply form have on submit and some handle, have on reset and some handle, and how they respond. For that, you need two buttons, generic buttons. What are those button type? One submit button you need, another button, what is it? Button type reset button you need. We have button type submit and button type reset. You need those buttons to handle the events. But this is one big issue in React. What is problem in React is designing form, collecting data from the form, submitting the data to server, validating the form is a difficult thing. React has some internal techniques, but they are not satisfied. In real-time projects, majority our CRUD operations are with forms. We collect login form, registration form, collect data, insert, update, delete, everything we do with forms. If a React developer have to work with complex forms, it's very, very difficult thing. Very difficult thing. Because React don't have proper options for handling them easily. That's the reason we have to depend on lot of third party. You see, I will show you. First, I will show you how we handle with React. Then we will see third party. I will show you one example here. See, npmjs.com. It is Node Package Manager official website. Here I will show you Formic. You see, this is one third party. And observe here, there is a third party form for React.js. See, its name is what? Formic. And see what they tell. Build forms in React without tears. What does it means? What does that sentence means? See, it means that don't cry. Don't cry. We have a solution for you. Right? Because for a React developer, if you ask to design a form and validate a form, he will cry. Why? Because it's very complicated. He will say that my JavaScript is better. because JavaScript looks easy for him to handle a form, right? So for React, it is very complex. That's the reason in React, we don't prefer using a form directly as React knows it. We will take help of third parties. What these third parties will do, they provide good features. They will make everything simple so that you can easily collect and handle the data. I will show you both because every time using third party is not a good idea. Why? Because if you are plugging in new libraries, application becoming heavy now. Because you are adding one file extra, then it becomes little heavy. If you are using internal features, then it is better, fast, right? You already know. For example, we have CSS. We can write CSS in a separate CSS file. We can write styles inside element. Which one is better? That depends on your requirement of reusability. If you want to reuse the styles, inline is not good. You have to maintain in a separate file. If you want to use only for one element, inline is good. But what is drawback of using an external file? Now request will go for two files. One file is JSX, another file CSS. And as a developer, you learnt already, number of requests increase for a page. Page load time also increase. Unnecessarily, we cannot use a third party until or unless we need to use its features. So sometimes we work with internal features available. How we will see, right? How we can access data from a form and how we can handle the data from a form. Let's see. So first important, I will show you one simple example how React manages form. Okay, let's add a new component, form demo. Okay, I will add form demo.jsx, export function. What is it? Form demo. And it will return some presentation. Okay, I will just use. Okay, I will just use here form demo in the startup. Form demo in the startup. Form demo. Okay. Now let's see. We will try to create a simple form first. We'll try to create a simple form. I will put here heading is register user and we designed a form. In this form, we are adding some details. So like username and we have a text box. Input type is text and we have another age. We have input type is number. These two are enough. Later we will see other elements. Radio, checkbox, drop down, everything we will see later. First, we will put a submit button. Now, what is our requirement is when user clicks submit, I need to collect the data from username and age and send to some API. On submit click, we have to collect the data from them. Okay. Now see here, according to the knowledge till now you are having, how to collect data from those two text boxes. You have to collect the data from name. You have to collect the data from age. How you will do? First, you need two references. One for uname, username, set uname is equal to use state. It is an empty string. Another one is age. Another one is set age. Use state age is a number. Number is some 0. Now, how to collect the data from those two text boxes? How to collect So you need a function, handle, name, change. Remember, React is one-way binding. That means it will not use get element by ID and all. And you cannot collect the data from element without on change. Am I right? On change is mandatory. Mandatory, na? Otherwise, you cannot modify. So every element needs on change. On name change, E. What we will do? Set uname E dot target dot value. Now function handle age change. What we have to do? Set age E dot target dot value. We have to attach them for these two text boxes. On change, handle name change, handle name change. Here on change, handle age change. And on submit, we have to submit. Then we have to write another function. What is it? Handle submit. On submit, this should work when form submitted. That means form needs an event. What is that event? On submit, handle submit. Right? And here I will put console log. I want to just present some object. In that object, we have username and it will come from uname. And age, it will come from age. We are submitting that information. But so much more work is there. So what is it? See, I will go to console and see in the console username, some name, age, some age. When I click submit, form submits the data in the URL and it is not showing because you know the solution for this. What is it? Why this is happening? This is happening because in events I told you. In events I told you that form have default submit behavior. If we are writing our own functionality, how we can stop the default behavior? If you are writing your own functionality, how to stop the default behavior? We have to stop the default behavior by using an event method. What is that event method? E dot prevent default. Remember that? Stop propagation, prevent default. Stop propagation is propagating child to parent. Prevent default means if any element has default events, stop them. Form have a default event. What is it? Submit. We have to stop that. Then it will work now. You can see now we are entering the details, age, and click submit. It will submit the data. So collecting the data and accessing and submit the data, this is complex. And you see here, so you see we are collecting the data and suppose set age, it is setting like a string. What I will do? Parse int. We will collect the value. Now you see here, we are entering some details and I click on submit. It will get perfectly. Now imagine if you are designing a form with 10-20 fields, radios, checkbox, drop downs, list box, sliders, 10 events, on change, on change, on change. Remember, there is no solution. You have to write like this. React is trying to provide some new features, but they are still not satisfied for developers every time. Recently, with 18-19 version, they added some new things, but they are not everywhere satisfied. What is that? Little better solutions they given, but not satisfied. Better solution. What are those? Let's see. For this first thing understood, that is the reason the third party library says don't cry, right? Because you will ask like this much I have to write to just handle data from two elements. Of course you have to write. This is the actual format how the form deals with. Actual way, React, how it deals with. So you need to create reference. You have to collect data for every reference. You need to bind every event. You need to handle on submit. This is the actual way. Let me copy this. This is the actual way. This is the actual way. I will copy this. This is the example of form demo. Dot what? JSX. That means in this we have to collect the data and we need to handle the data. Okay. What is the better solutions they given? Actually, in React JS, so React 18 plus versions. From React 18 plus versions, that means React 18, React 19. From 18 plus versions provide form data. Actually, form data is not a new thing. It is already there in your general HTML. Actually, it is present in actual DOM. Actual DOM have form data. Now React 18 and 19 version allows to use that form data. Earlier we don't have. They allow to use this form data, which makes accessing data from a form easy. I will show you. This is there in general HTML. For example, in your HTML, I will show you your HTML page. In a HTML page, you have a form. So roughly I will give. In this, we have user and input type is text. Name is user. Okay. In the next line, age. So input type is number and the name is age. And we have a button. So this is submit. And observe carefully, this form have a method. We have get method, post method. On post method, we submit the data. Where to submit and all are required, but not giving, just simple. Okay. Observe, run this and see now. I will open this HTML form, right click and inspect. Go to network category. Go to this network category. In the network category, currently I am in network category. In the network category, you open the form demo.html. You enter some data. After that, you click on submit. Form is submitted. It is not working because where to post and all we haven't mentioned. No problem. Observe this red demo HTML. This is on post. On post, observe. When I click here, you see there is payload. And in payload, form data is there, which is collecting the data. Can you tell me what is the left and right values? Left is field name, right side value. This is there in general HTML. Actually, you will have headers. In headers, you will see post method. You go to payload. Payload will show the form data. Now, latest React versions from 18 onwards, they give access to this. If they give access to this, you can collect data from form easily. But every form element should have a name. You already know the rule of form. If form element don't have a name, then form cannot submit data of that element. If name is not there, data is not submitted. For example, you see here, suppose for age, there is no name. And you can see, I will refresh. I enter some name and age. I entered age and I submitted. And you see in the payload, only name is there. What is the basic rule when you design a form in HTML? Make sure that every form element have a form can submit data of any element only when it is having a name. So make sure that every form element have a name, and this form data is now available in React. It is available in React. So what you can do now, see, let's do another thing. I will clean up this information. Okay. You see, I'm removing on change. I'm removing on change. I am deleting this name change, everything. I have two references, fine. References are there, uname and set uname. I don't need these also. First, I will remove them. I will log username and all are empty. Nothing is there. I cleaned up all the logic. I have only submit. On submit, I have to collect data from form. First, make sure that every element have a name. This is user name. And this is having a name. What is it? Age. Fine. Now, observe here, prevent default. So we will create here, we will create a reference of data is equal to, we will access from form data. There is form data. And actually the form data is expecting a form element. We have to pass form element into it, then it can collect its data. How to pass the form element? E can access the form element na? Element related details. How to pass element related details? E dot target. That means here I will use E dot what? Target. That means it refers to form. Am I right? That means form information is passed here. Temporarily, I will show you data. Right? Just I'm logging the data. And see now what I'm doing here. Refresh empty. I entered some name and age. I click on submit. You see it gets the form data. And see, form data is a, by seeing this, what you understand, it is what type? It is what type? See the methods, delete, entries, for each, get all, has. It is map type. It is not object type. You learned object and map. I told you in data types, I told now. Map type is a key value collection, but key can be any type, value can be any type. Object is key must be string, value can be any. So map is faster than object because map have internal methods. Dot keys will return all keys. Dot values will return all values. Dot entries will return both keys and values. Now you can see there is a get method. Na? Get method can access them. That means here what we have to do, we need to create username. Username will come from data dot what? Get. What is the field name? Field name is the name you given for the field. And next one, what is the next one? We have age. Age is coming from where? Data dot get. Get from where? Age. And you see now here, I will refresh and I will enter the data and click submit. It gets the same. And you know how do we parse this? Am I right? How do we parse this? What is it? Parse int, and we need to pass the data. That means here I'm entering some data and I submit, it will get that. This time it looks very better. Little better. Because I don't need to write on change, on change, on change everywhere. I don't need a reference for every element because every element has a reference. Right? Name is enough, na? That means collecting data from the form is easy. And this is the form data we have. By using form data, we can access and we can handle. We can handle. So this is one important. And it looks little simple. When compared to the previous approach, it looks simple, right? So what is the form data? It is a collection. It is a collection of key and value. So technically, it is a map type. Technically, it is a map type. That means the element name is used as key and its value as value. Am I right? The element name is used as key and its value as value. And important, every element must have a name. Must have a name. That means how we do syntactically, we have data is coming from, where is it? Form data. Into that, we have to pass e dot target. This refers to form element. E actually refers to form element. E refers to form element. That means from the form element, we can access the data and use the data. So this is another technique of handling the forms. That means what you can do, data dot what? Get. Get, you have to mention the key. So here what key is? Key refers to field name. Whatever name you given for the field, it refers to the field name. Right? This is another example. Actually, same example, I used this. And remember, you can use any element now. Drop down, radio, checkbox, anything you can use. Suppose for your convenience, understanding sake, see, I'm adding a drop down, suppose city, and I will put here data definition. We will put a select option, select city, and we have option. So Delhi. So we have option. So Hyderabad, and make sure that this select have a name. And what is it? City. Suppose they are having another gender and we have input type is a radio. You know, radio needs a name, gender, same name na? Value must be male. And here we will put a label. This is male. And similarly, I have another, this is value is female. Remember, I hope you learnt in HTML, if you don't give value for radio, what value radio will submit? Name is given, value is not given. If value is not given for radios and checkbox, what they submit? If value is not given for radios and checkbox, they will submit on, on as value. They will submit on as value. So we can't identify which one they selected. For example, suppose I will show you here. See, these are the same thing in HTML form. In HTML form, I have radio. And observe, value is not mentioned. Only name is mentioned. Name is what? Gender. And value is not mentioned. And why you need a common name, you know. Right? Only one will be selected. Huh? You observe here. Yeah. You can see here, I entered the name. I selected male. And when I submit, it is submitted. Inspect network. Through network, we will submit. You see, you entered name, you selected age, and when you submit, you see here the form data gender on. Radios and checkboxes will submit on as a value. It's difficult to understand which one they selected. So it is mandatory that every radio and checkbox must have a value. If value is not there, they submit on as value, right? So here, make sure that in this example, yeah. So in this example, we are giving value. And very simple now. Let's collect the data here. You know how to collect the data. So after age, what is the next one? City. City is coming from data.get. Get from where? City. After that, we have gender. Gender is coming from data.get from where? Gender. And you can see you are having different form fields now. And you entered the name, age, select the city and select gender and submit. It will get that. Any element you can use now. Because if I don't show this, people ask, sir, how to deal radio, how to deal checkbox, nothing special. You can just add any element, just you need to know how to collect the data. How to save this in database and all next level. We will do that. Right? This is okay, better. This is better, but it is not very great because again, validating, collecting, verifying every detail is complicated. That's the reason React developers use this, but if they need complex validations and all, they don't prefer this. They don't prefer this. So this is form demo dot what JS. Now React 18 and 19 version, they have some more techniques. They introduced some more techniques. So we will see those in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. First you try up to this and you try to do the task, right? If you can try this tomorrow, we will see how to design the form with third party. We will see some third parties and how to design a form, how to validate the form. That is very, very important. You cannot miss the topic because forms and validations are key for any web developer. So this is what we implement in our projects, right? How to design form with third party, how to validate, how to collect. These are important. Tomorrow we will see that. Okay. In tomorrow session, we'll continue with that. Okay. Yeah. And from tomorrow onwards, you people have to register into CodeRide app, right? For offline people, we have a QR code outside. Outside QR code, you scan and join into CodeRide. For online people, online, we will post a link into the classroom. You check the link, join into that app, and all your notes, task, everything will be given in that app. Will be given in that app. I showed now that app, right? From tomorrow onwards, I will not upload the notes in Google Class. Everything happen inside CodeRide app. Okay. Tasks also, I will show how to use it. I will explain how to resolve the tasks, submit them. I will show in class. You can submit. You can try. So that every topic wise, I will give you some exercises now. Okay. Right. Tomorrow we'll continue.